called central programming generator. It's actually a kinesiological phrase. What that is it's your nervous system learning that the first time you do something is how you will always do it. So when we get up and we start to walk, that's how we will always walk. That's why, I mean, Usain Bolt never ran like that. He had to be trained how to run like that. Well, the funny part is with basketball, what was the difference?
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, I agree. And like, you look at guys like Kyrie Irving, and they're like, he just had like he does have like the best handles ever, but like, it's not just his handles; it's the way his body is moving.
Yeah.
It makes it, like anyone can dribble fast, but your moves are affected by the way your body. You know what I mean?
That's well.
Like,
Your moves are your body.
Like, I can't like camera.
Yeah.
And these low, like you watch Kyrie, like he's in like these positions.
You actually
You know
can.
what I mean?
You actually can. And what the reason I'm saying that is there's a biomechanical way to do all that. And everybody talks about strength and joints. They're talking about strength and load to overcome poor posture and positioning within that move. You know, like I grew up with like the greatest ball handlers of all time. Kyrie is certainly, you know, right up there. Pistol Pete Maravich handled it in a way that everybody wanted to be Pistol Pete when Pistol Pete was playing. I'm talking about Magic and Isaiah. I played with all these guys, and that's all everybody talked about. Wanted to be Pistol Pete. And then there are guys that probably the greatest ball handler of all time, nobody ever heard of. Marcus Haynes. You know who that is? Marcus Haynes used to be the dribbler, Curly Neal. Those two guys were the ball handlers for the Harlem Globetrotters. Well, Marcus Haynes played at Kansas. He dribbled out, imagine this, Mike, dribbled out 7.5 minutes on a clock by himself. Against five guys without turning it over. Now, come on, man. It'd be hard to do that in this driveway by yourself, just dribbling. So anyway, so let's like for you. So I know you're doing a lot of athletic stuff and breaking down moves and things like that. So I think it'd be fun just to kind of go through some of the stuff that you might do, and then I'll kind of talk you through some of the things we do for shooting and things like that.
I'd love to do any of the stuff you do with the Heat players, shooting specifically, or I've seen all the kind of funky stuff that you have players doing.
Yeah.
At least it looks that way.
It does, but there's a reason behind everything that we do. So growing up as an athlete, most people. Do you ever play baseball?
Yeah.
Okay, so as baseball players, this is part of where I started looking at how things move. Sounds weird, but so when we were playing baseball, what did we all do with a bat? Everybody did this because I was going to play baseball for a living too. My dad and my grandfather both played, and so as a kid, you walk around with a bat. What do we do with a bat when we're bored? You hold it up, put it on your two fingers, right? And you're like, and now think about how easy, when that bat's straight up and down, how easily that bat moves around. And as soon as it tips over and you grab it, now you're chasing balance. There's a lot of weight going the wrong direction. Well, if you picture yourself, your body-wise, and your head works like that, and now you start going, okay, so if a bat is light and weightless like that, then you start watching gymnastics and figure skating and ballet dancers and everybody else that has great balance. They all have that in common as they're moving like this. This you have to compensate for because you can't do anything playing this way. You can't shoot, you can't finish, you can't nothing. Except unless it's an emergency, right? That's why you're looking for athletes. Like if you get knocked over and you're going to throw one up, that's just creativity and action, right? But to execute skills, it's not like that. I mean, you want to, in order to be able to repeat a jump shot, repeat a move, to be able to work towards, here I'm on balance. Now when I take the ball and I do that, where am I going? Nobody can tell because it all looks the same. I can go this way, that way, this way. My guys can go in every direction as well as up to shoot, So we talk about vertical posture and a vertical drop. You might have heard that phrase. Vertical drop is part of our innate fight or flight response. One of the things I studied when you start talking about movement was cats. Because you heard the phrase, I heard the phrase, ooh, that cat's quick as a cat. Or, ooh, that cat quick. So I went and started studying cats. In Detroit, it's easy. There's a million cats all over the place that throw fucking, shoot at them and throw firecrackers, and they all do the same thing.
Yeah.
And if you see that, it's like, all right, wait a minute. There's a commonality. We're all in the animal kingdom, so we all have that innate fight or flight response. So the next big thing was, how do we then create a skill out of it? That's the hardest part. It's like how we're going to train something to become a thing. So, and if you're going to teach something different, it's going to be taught differently. And that's kind of where, some of these layups and spins and all this crazy stuff that our guys do. So, but let's do this. Now, are you thinking about playing anymore?
Nah, not
No?
really.
Okay. Now it's the biz.
Now it's just the biz.
The biz of basketball and
just creating content. That's really what I'm doing now.
okay. And most of it is like I've seen a few things where you're, it was kind of funny because I won 2 dunk contests when I was playing too, and I used to put my elbows on the rim, and when I was playing, I used vertical jump as a weapon. Most of the time as a vertical jump, you're like saving a play or you're blocking a shot or right, dunking. But if you can look right at somebody and say, okay, I'm going to shoot it right there, and then just go jump over them and be able to put your feet. I always was trying to some of our guys do this, try to get about 75% of your vertical jump onto your jump shot when you need it. Shooting is different. Scoring shots, as a player, those are different. You go into traffic and you got to create your own vertical space or angular vertical space or that kind of thing. So
always jump in a little higher when you're shooting off the dribble than it's like catch and shoot.
Yeah. Unless you're like Steph is like, yeah, because I always talk about there's a couple different ways to create space, right? One is by quickness, handles, and early preparation. The other is by athleticism into vertical.
Kobe
right?
was more athleticism. Steph Curry was
Right. LeBron when he's coming in here, Michael when he's coming in here. But shooting.
But even LeBron, he doesn't really jump high on a shot. I feel like he's always like when he gets in here, he's kind of always like fading.
Well, now LeBron's 37 now. If you go look at there's an old clip. I think he's playing with Heat, and he's driving. He travels, but he's got the ball and he moves this way, and he goes like this and takes a couple of steps and goes. And turns. Now, why jump so high? It's time and organization. And that's what we talk about, because when you're doing crazy stuff, like the ball's going out in different angles and guys are spinning up in the air, it takes a lot of time to get that stuff organized and try to get balanced in the air. That's why you see guys kick their legs out, so it slows down rotation and catch your balance, all that kind of stuff. But so, we do all of that and try to get people to understand how it all comes together. Like if I said to you, like if you go back door and I'm going to throw you the lob, what's the last step that you take? Big stride, driving down into the ground. You get your head up and your arms go right. So we do that. We take that. We put it on our shots. And like you said, right now, in order to do that, that's actually perfect. Okay, so do that again, right? So now, what we try to do is we'll dribble ball and foot at the same time. You hear us say that all the time. And the last dribble is going to be your hardest dribble. So here's the one thing. So if you go back door, Mike, and you're gonna take off, and you make that step. Just go through slow motion like you would. Big step. Right. Now you see what your arm swing did? Now, exactly. Now we wouldn't do that with the ball necessarily, which is why we don't get 100% of our jump. But think about how do I want to, I still have to be able to use my arms to go up and create that shot. So a couple fundamentals. Right, ball and foot at the same time. Hands on the ball before your second foot touches the floor. Right, so I go here, and now I can use my arms to jump. And it propels me up in the air. And now I can jump vertically, high as you want. And then all the time, now you're resting up here, getting organized, and then you go ahead and shoot. Right, and that's why you see all these, like those guys, Kobe and LeBron and Michael, and they go jump, right, and they get to use their arm swing as much as you can. Obviously, your arms aren't going to go behind you, because then you'll lose the ball, right? So when you put the ball in both hands like that, now you can take off and that kind of thing. So that's kind of a fun thing that we practice. So just for kicks, let's do. So I'm going to start right just inside where the nail would be. I'm going to have you take a dribble, your right foot. We're going to use right foot's going to go right on the elbow, okay? So what we'll do, Mike, is when you go take that dribble, just think of when you drop, I talk a lot about eyes, elbows, and posture. Okay? So what you're going to do is when you go drop that ball down or pound that ball down to dribble, take your left elbow and attach it right to your side. Okay? Right. Now, why would I do that? Here's the thing. Let me see that ball. So when I do this, see where that ball bounced? I can now do that a million times in a row and the ball bounces exactly the same place. Why? This will never change distance. So if it's attached to the same place, I get the same bounce. That's where consistency shooting the jump shot off the dribble was lost, because guys are always doing this or this. So now you get a different spot of where you're dribbling, that kind of thing. So, yep, perfect, okay? And now, while you're doing that, keep your eyes on the rim the whole time, okay? So nice and easy, and okay, good. And here's the next part. Early morning sucks. So the next part is having your hands on the ball before that second foot touches, okay? Right. Okay, so now try to time the dribble. There we go. Now you feel that little gap in between. Yeah. So what we want to do is there. So if we piece it together, that's actually the breakdown for it. Right, see how we catch it in one hand. Now think about that, Mike. That's your shooting hand getting to the ball late. You're a great athlete, so you get here and it's time for you to go and the ball's not ready. Right? Yeah, now we're trying to get organized on the ground. We're losing energy. So if we want to take all this energy we just created and transfer it up into our vertical jump, I got to have that ball in our hands. So how do we do that? One of the philosophies is any skill that we want to have, we challenge and over confuse. Okay? So have you ever seen Tyler warm up during our games? Yeah. And you see him doing all these little hand prep drills and yeah. So he'll do this one where we're taking dribble and the pass fake. So the whole purpose of that is if I add something for you to do, it forces you to do the previous thing, which is I'm trying to get both hands on the ball before I land. So if I make you pass fake and come back, now my hands are ready and we're done, okay? So if you just try that one, just take a dribble. This is a pain in the butt, right? And what we want to try and do, Mike, is have the pass fake done and the ball back connected to our body before we land, okay? And it looks really stupidly simple, right? And now you see how you're kind of like, oh, and you're trying to reach for the ball, that kind of thing. So what we're doing is we're going to retrain a habit. So go ahead and try that again. Right. So, so Rodney Magruder became really, really good at this, and it changed the way he was he shot his best percentages with us. A lot of it was just how he picked the ball up. Okay? Because now, as a player, correct. So now it becomes easy. Now I can pass fake this way, that way, short arms, long arms, whatever.
What am I doing? I'm bouncing it.
And then you're jumping, and then you're trying to get your hands on it. So what you're learning is one of the things that all of our guys work on a lot is sequence. What happens first, what happens second, what happens next. And all of them, if they happen in the right order, all of them help each other. I call them good dominoes, bad dominoes, right?
It's becoming more efficient.
Exactly.
There's a lot of inefficiencies happening in like 0.1 seconds and no one really notices it.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So, like I watch, and once you see it, this is the good part, you'll never unsee it. Now you watch and go, oh, I see why they're doing that. I see why they're having a struggle there. This is why you see so many inconsistencies, okay? Which is why are free throws the highest percentage shot, other than layups, of course. It's because you get to do the same thing, exactly the same every time, right? The better you get at it, the better you get here. Same rules apply everywhere else on the court. But we're in different situations. We're getting bumped and we have to create. So as long as we build some certain fundamentals in there, I say it with my guys, how many things on a list of, say, 25 do you have to get right? If you did all 25 things, you would make every single shot you ever shot. How many do you have to get right this one time to make that one shot? It might be 2, it might be 3, it might be 5, whatever it is. So if you get building where those fundamentals start to happen each time, okay, then you have something you can, transfer into the play. So you go get the best athletes and say, here, we'll just overcome it this way and out-athlete all stuff. That's why you saw so many crazy things of, different shots and who knows what else we were doing. But so that's just kind of one of the fundamentals. Ball and foot at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay. Hands on the ball before your feet touch. There you go. Good. And then eyes up, chin up, and chest up. So keep your eyes on the rim. Good. Now go ahead and shoot a couple as we warm up a little bit. Okay. And then let's use the jump stop. Okay, so here, both feet land at the same time. Kind of 1-2 like this, right? Perfect. Perfect. Okay? Now, that's a really good jump stop. That was a good dribble. So now what we're going to do is put yourself in a posture where you're ready to go the instant your feet touch the ground. So it's this, boom, instead of yeah, exactly right. I say it like this. Land at the level you want to start your shot from. Play at the level you're going to shoot from. Okay? You can go over here in the shade if you want. But I go through that all the time. Okay? So try that. Make that bounce. Yep. Make that pass fake. Attaboy. Now, instantly that's more efficient, right? On that. Make that pass fake. Attaboy. So you see how your body's adjusted now? And there's less. Less is always more, right? And we can transfer more energy if we're doing less things. Okay, so sit down and start at the level. There you go. Good. Good. Okay, nicely done. So now let's picture, okay, you've got the ball. Now here I am playing defense. Okay, now keep that chest up. Yes. If you're set up here and you move your chest over, you're actually giving me your space. One of the ways we play defense in the NBA, chest on shoulder, and cross. And I can get here.
Now I have to go this way.
Yeah, now I can try to control you, right? So if we bend over like that and give away our space, okay, that's why Dirk Nowitzki was one of the best you ever saw. And Kobe, they would both, if they're in here just to face that physical pressure, they'll push you off and then get right here.
Yeah.
And here's their body, straight up and down.
And then you have no idea where they're going. Yeah.
Correct. And you're in a closeout. Because now if they push you up and I'm here, it's like, uh-oh.
So efficient when they would do like pull-ups because you're coming at them, one dribble, you're recovering.
You have to, yeah.
Kobe's already.
Yeah, because you got to take the layup.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the greatest players, the greatest defenders. So when you take the ball like that and you go start, what I would do is if guys put their hand back here instead of put both hands on the ball, I used to trace this hand as a player. So I would watch guys when they were warming up. If they dribbled like that, I was going, oh, okay, I got time. So now, if you go to pull up, Mike, go ahead and pull up. My hand meets the ball same time yours does. Whether I touch the ball or not, as a player, if I'm there with you, it's like, oh, that guy's, now I got to deal with one other thing. Yeah, now you're going to reroute the ball and all that kind of stuff. Which is why if you really protect inside that lead heel and your hands are on it quickly, that's where, so now if I've got the ball and you go reach and I go here, that's where this stuff came from. What I want you to do is keep your eyes up on the rim, okay? And I want you to take all the weight off of your right foot. Okay? Yeah, like you're standing on a balance beam. Good. Now sit down and you can put your right foot on the ground.
Should it be behind or in front?
Well, we're going to move it around.
Okay.
Yeah, because what we're going to do is we're going to learn connect the ball to protect, right? Loaded hand, and then sit down here like this. That's why you're seeing this kind of stuff now, right? And it's here, the ball moves, and then sprinters start. Okay? Fastest guys in the world, how do they start? One foot behind the neck, pew, off they go. So basketball, we were taught differently, right? We were taught to lean forward and put your weight on that foot.
And like triple threat.
Yeah. And triple threat, yes, it's a great concept, but I think it's done improperly.
And that's probably why so many people travel when
change directions.
When they're getting, or even on this closeout, like they they travel.
Yeah. Well, you got to experience it over in Europe because they used to call everything that we learned, like if you do this, FIBA guys call it a travel, and I haven't moved my left foot. Yeah. I've had fun discussions with some guys doing that. But, so anyway, this is what I did. So if you jab, okay, jab. Now what? Right. I'm in great shape if you do that.
Yeah.
So whenever somebody jabbed at me, remember it was my first pro camp, and we're doing jab and go drills and all that stuff. First guy jabbed at me, I stepped right in between his feet. The guy, so if you keep going, pick your pivot foot up as a travel.
Exactly. So it's almost better, like if you did that, I'd have to like.
Yeah, you back up. Now all my guys can get in their help spots, and I'm not alone anymore. Because when the ball goes swing, swing, and you got it, and it's me and you on a closeout, man, I got to buy some time somehow. I got to fake you or do something like that. And great players don't let you do. They don't let you off the hook. That's why you hear north-south all the time. Because if you've got the ball there and there's a shooter in the corner, I got a defender here. So if you come this way, he's going to help. So in order to try to eliminate the help, north-south. So how do we do that? So now, okay, so set up on your left foot for me. Okay, sit down. Good, good. And now each time you move your foot, try and keep your weight right over that foot, right? So it's like, it's really, there you go. Now, when I say ready, set, go, I want you to drop your right foot. Now you're going to push off that right foot, and then we're going to push off the left foot.
Pull up?
Yeah, yeah, we'll do that for fun. Ready? Eyes up. That's it. Hit it. Okay? Now, it's a, look, it's a little unfair, I know, when it's first thing in the morning, but the idea, Mike, did, okay? Keep that weight up, chest up, chest up, chest up, and then go ahead and push. There you go. Now you feel when you made that dribble that we kind of go this way. What we're going to eventually work towards is drop, push. Yeah, that is the habits of 99.9% of people that play. The 0.1% has a chance to play up where we are, and then the top 1% of those guys, that. That's why there's not many leading scorers in the league, right? Okay. So if you watch James Harden, what does he do? He stands here like this, and he rests. And then all of a sudden, when it's time for him to go, what does he do? Whoop. You know, I was working with Justice and Dwayne Wade, and we're working on this, and Justice is working on his body up, and Dwayne comes off the baseline. He goes, that's why James Harden is so hard to guard, because he goes like this, and you can't tell where he's going, because his body is just like that. And you know, which way is he going? He's going left, right? We all know that. But what does he do? He goes, and then he starts creating a step back jump shot.
It does kind of drive me crazy because you watch him play, like he's not nearly as like Kyrie literally just does something different every time. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
But James Harden, like he's just going between cross, and then either he's coming back or he's going that way or he's getting this way.
There you go.
And
but you know what he's doing? He's watching you.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? So if I go at you and I get you to do this, this, this. So when I used to teach people one-on-one, when we learned, like we were talking about with the jab steps, what did we learn? Ooh, attack the top foot, and you're trying to go this way or that way. Out of 3 ways to attack a defender, that's the third best way, right? The best way is to get him to go up and down. If you get him to go up, and you go under, off you go. The next one is to get him back and forth. So if you push off and then come back as they're closing you out, you drop that foot, boom. Okay, that's why you see guys like this, and they're dropping here, and they do that. The whole hezzy game is based on getting that space, making somebody close out because I might shoot. That's where Steph is such a nightmare. Because Steph goes like this, he brings his hands toward, and you're like, oh God, I got to contest, and then he goes, yeah.
He'll be here, and then he'll be like, yeah.
But he's a great example of that. Yeah, nice.
And then he's just like,
yeah.
And,
and you know what he does better than anybody? He gets both hands on the ball before he's ready to start. Faster than anybody. Right there. Boom. Him and Dame. Well, those two guys are a nightmare, which it shows every night. And they're every night guys because that stuff repeats over and over and over and over. Okay? And it starts right here. So when you start, put the weight on the left foot. What we'll do, Mike, is sit down at that level and you'll come shoot your jump shot right here. So go ahead and use that right foot. Yeah, feel it, feel it. What I want you to do, move that foot around. Good, good. See, now you're cooking. And now the other thing too, as a player, what am I watching?
Ball.
Yeah, everybody says watch your chest. We know better than that. Why are we watching the ball? Because I need deflections now. Yeah. Okay, I need to reroute things. So I need to watch the ball. So if I know the defender's watching the ball, use the ball, right? So as you drop your foot, there you go. And I tell guys play hip pocket to hip pocket. You don't want to get too far outside those because then I can get in there with a little bit of impunity, okay? Depending on what your name is, of course. All right, ready? Good. Eyes up, and then we're going to drop and push. Go. Boom. Okay? Nicely done. So now, same thing, Mike. Same move, only when you go to do this, I want you to jump stop and pass fake. Right. Now, do you feel yourself going this way when you make that step?
Not really.
Okay. That means it's a really ingrained habit, right? So what we're going to try and do, I'll help you with it this time. So do it in slow motion. Go ahead. Do it. Go ahead. Go. And then now make that move. So make your step. Drive through my hand. I'm just going to help you. Now, you see the posture you're in when you get there?
Yeah.
Now, your job is then just get your hands there. So if I resist you, all I'm doing is forcing vertical posture. Why that?
Because then I'm already ready to shoot.
Exactly.
Instead of having to be like this.
Okay. And now, to get a little sciencey on us, let's say, if you're right here and you're going to shoot it, the perfect way for the ball to go would be from here to there in that arc. What actually happens? This is what players usually do.
Yeah.
3 directions. That's hard to control at speed, isn't it? So the better we get...
a lot of players,
exactly.
Up, then they're dipping the ball, then they're coming back up.
Right. And that's because the way we learned. Yeah. Our body was in the way, but we learned to move our body around the ball. And that's what they're doing. Okay? That imprint, we call it a brain imprint for layman's terms rather than a central programming generator. But that brain imprint tells us this is how we have to do it. Okay? So as you keep your chest up and you keep the ball close, you're much more efficient. When you hit the ground, you can go.
My only question about that is I feel like when you're doing this one big step, having my body tilted makes it look like I'm still gonna drive.
Okay.
Right?
Except, but think about, now, if you're doing that, if you watch the NBA really closely and you're making that drive, nobody takes off from here. In high school and college and lower levels, everybody takes off from here. That's called the launching pad. That's what our shrink guys are trying to do. So when you make that move, they're trying to stick their hand in there, make you pick it up.
Yeah, you gotta.
Right, you pick it up right. That's why you see in the NBA extra dribbles, extra steps, reaching down here.
Yeah.
Okay? We're not actually trying to get here and take off. Because if you do, Miles Turner is going to get you. Right? And you can list, there's 5 guys on each team who are going to come out of nowhere and smack that, which is why you see so many of those. If you take off from the launching pad, that's a very, very poor percentage shot. Okay? Now, when you watch James get in there, he's like...
He also throws up floaters from there.
Yeah, some. Yeah. And floater's a great shot in late clock situations. It's a 30% shot in the NBA. 30%, yeah. But you still have late clock regardless of where you are. Okay, if you have a 30-second shot clock, which is forever, it's still, we tell our guys even 4 seconds on the shot clock, what percentage of the shot clock is that really? It's almost just under 25%. Because 24 seconds takes you 6 seconds to get into your first action. So you really only have an 18-second shot clock. Right? Now you get down to 6 seconds, that's a third of the shot clock left. So you're still in great shape to, and you got to stay patient when there's 2, 1, you can still get places, especially if you're a good athlete like you are.
Sure.
You know?
No, 2 seconds is a long time.
It is. It is. So as you go through this, so let's work that. Playing a little one-on-one game. You got the ball. Keep your eyes up, right, and you're just going to look right over. Somebody pops free, or you see somebody going to cleanse out of the lane, or whatever. Okay. Now, and then drop that foot and hit pass. Boom. Better. Okay.
Oh,
and now,
pass. My bad.
no, you're good. Yeah, pass fake. But let's go use that jump stop. Good. Okay. And now, in this jump stop, what I want you to do, I teach about 5 different kinds of jump stops. In this one, we're going to go 90-10. Okay, so we're going to go 90% of the distance with your first step, 10% with the jump stop. A lot of guys try to go short and then make it all up.
Oh.
That time you're in the air is a lot of time for me to catch up. Okay, so we're going to burst off of there, push off that left foot hard dribble. Right, and the harder you dribble it, Mike, the faster it gets back in your hands, the earlier you can jump with your arms. You understand? Okay, so go ahead and make that jump stop. There's the game. Eyes up, look past my shoulder. Good, work that ball. Boom. Yes. Excellent. Excellent. That's okay. We'll deal with that in 1 second. Because I'll show you, believe it or not, you'll be able to handle that really, really quickly, okay? So make that move again. Eyes up. Watch the game. Good. That's it. Hit it. Boom. Ah, much better. Now you see what kind of distance you're covering? If you move this way, because when you're here and you got to go this way, you're actually slowing down when you stop too. So that was really nice. Okay, one more time. Jab, jab, eyes, hit it. Atta boy, Mike. Good, good. Okay, so that's just like the beginnings 101 of triple threat. Okay, now, so let's go over here and let's just go to the shot. Okay, so especially right now, if you've had things going on, how we pick it up, getting organized here, loading our hands on the way, we'll generally jump, hang in the air, and it'll stop. This is where you're going to shoot anyway,
Yeah.
so why not start there?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay? It just happens more quickly. And we can do it instantly. The best ones do it right here. The next best ones are doing it. The toughest ones are up here.
I wonder when I do it.
Kind of like up here.
But yeah.
Because what you have is your elbows are like this. So what you do is you push those elbows in together, and that's when your hands load up completely, and then you let it go. Because with the gift of vertical jump, like you have,
Comes the curse of.
right.
It's a curse of like, oh, I have time.
Exactly right. But the higher level you go, as you know,
Yeah.
you start running out of time. I don't
sure.
care how fast you are or how high you jump. There's always going to be a Derek Jones around.
Yeah.
And Derek, we're not jumping over the top of the backboard when we're going to go shoot. That's why he's such a problem, you know? So, anyway, so sit down like you're going to shoot. We're just going to stay stationary for this one. Good. Okay? And just so you keep your rhythm, make your normal, like, bounce and then take it up. Okay? Good. Now, you should feel like when you're here, the ball is kind of hanging in your hands. Okay? So think about this. If I take the ball and I go, just pass it. So pass it right to me. Boom. Now you see how you did it? Now remember I was talking about central programming generator? I think because we learned the way we did, this is like one of the curses of how we learn basketball. Because after we got through that whole step over between the legs move, we went to a coach. Or somebody started coaching us. And what was the first thing they taught us? The dreaded two-hand chest pass. Right now, look what we do. We go like this. Oh my gosh, the worst thing in the world for shoulders or for shooting.
Yeah.
Okay, because now I've lifted my shoulders, separated my elbows, and now I shove out from there.
Sure, this is kind of a better pass.
Yeah, and that's look. You've seen it. You've played. That's how we. How many times do you? The only time we do this is a swing pass, or if somebody's wide open running on a fast break.
Yeah.
2 situations. That's it. We don't really use that when we're playing individually, right? So
bounce passes, like, they're not as much like this. More like,
Exactly. We were taught a two-handed game that's evolved into a one-handed game, right? Even rebounding, go up and get it with 2 hands. If you can, great. But most guys are like reaching back for it, and then as quickly as you can get it into 2 hands, But if you stood at the elbow trying to make that catch against a great defender, and you try to catch it with two hands, you got to hold the guy off and catch it with one and then bring it into two, right? So the faster we can do that, the better we'll play. It's very similar with the shots, okay? So as you take the ball, right? Now what I'm going to have you do, good, just set up and freeze like you're ready to start your jump shot. Boom. Now, stay right there. Now we'll widen out our feet in a little bit, but here's what I want you to do. I want you to work this left elbow close to, right? You see what happened with your hands? How your hands kind of centered? That's what we're going to look for, okay? And we're going to open up our fingers, and eventually, that's where you'll grip it, like. Whatever restrictions our body has, we can adjust to that, not a big deal. But open your fingers. Why do I say that? Because that's the most consistent. If I do this, I may have this angle, that angle. Those are all different forces on the ball from different points. Okay, so as wide as we can get them comfortably, we'll get a more consistent drive through the center of the ball. Okay, so now you're in good shape. So I just want to work this elbow. Okay, you do what you want to do. Eventually we'll get you into a straight line through the middle of your hand, but that'll come later. Okay, we'll just move the ball over there, right? Okay, so you're pretty good there. And then just keep working this elbow right behind. Okay, now, so we don't lose our rhythm, go ahead and take your dribble. And just, I want you to focus on that left elbow, Mike. Yes, good. Okay, and go ahead and shoot a couple. All right, now, I'm going to give you a feeling here, okay? Come right here and do exactly what you just did. Make that dribble, give yourself a little bit of a jump, okay? Go ahead. Good, good. Let's do one more time. Right? Isn't that cool? It's like, hey! That is the feeling of letting the ball go on the way up. Okay? Here's why. If I let it go at the peak, I have three variables. I could let it go on the way up, at the peak, or possibly on the way down. If I'm letting it go on the way up, before I get to the peak, I've eliminated two variables, and I narrow the gap of what we're trying to repeat, right? So simply by definition, by elimination, we develop more consistency. So if we're letting it go before the peak of the jump, I can now take more energy out of my body and transfer it. Because nowadays, obviously, we're trying to get range. If you go out there and stop the ball, you know, it's not getting there.
Yeah.
Okay, you got to make up something else.
You can't shoot on the way down from out there.
It's really hard. I don't know anybody that can do it. So it's really hard. So the idea is, in order for you to be able to let it go before the peak of your jump, everything has to be ready.
Yeah.
Posture, hands, position, leading with the ball. Because so much like I was talking about here, that was shoulders, elbows, wrists. To shoot, it's exactly the opposite. It's wrist, elbow, shoulder. And that's how, if you make that one-handed pass, that's exactly what happens. So if we would have learned that way, most people would be better shooters, which, you know, is a good thing for the game and, you know, not necessarily good for everybody, because if you know how to do it, you're ahead of everyone else, right? Yeah. So go ahead and all I want you to do, don't worry about what happens with the ball. Try and let it go before the peak of your jump. Okay? All right? A little bit earlier. Now remember, the big key in order for you to be able to do it, Mike, is to get your hands on it before you land. Okay, so here, yep. There you go. See now,
That felt like it was on the way down.
a little bit, but here's the good thing. I say this all the time. If you can feel it, you can fix it.
Yeah.
Right? Like when I said, when you move this way, you didn't feel that. That you felt. Now you're ready to make a move, right? Okay, so do that again. Hands on it, early, early, early. Okay, now, pretty good stroke. I think you can let it go 6 inches earlier. Now, that was a good flight, a little bit earlier, but remember, get your hands on it before your feet touch the floor. Okay, now that was a careful, you felt that, right? You were aiming it. Don't worry about it. Shoot it 10 feet long, I don't care. Now, here's the good news, Mike. Your ball flight, seriously, your ball flight just came up. You can feel it. The earlier you let it go, obviously the more energy is going to go into the ball, and the more up it'll go. So that's a really good start. That was good. You feel that? Exactly. That's why you got to practice it. Nice, Mike. Very nice. Elbow, left elbow. Hey.
Doubles out there.
Just a little bit. Don't worry about that. Ah. That was the earliest one of those three, right?
I think so.
Yeah. And so in order to create a feeling, we must, especially at the beginning, is over exaggerate it. Okay? This is weird. The better control that you have over it, the earlier you can shoot it. When I say that to shooters, they think, well, if I go too fast, I'm out of control. It's actually the opposite. It means that you have the ability earlier in your sequence to be able to get rid of it, where most guys have to get organized. That's what we're talking about, okay? Same thing, pass fake, hands on, out early. Okay? Now, I know you can feel that little hesitation up there, right? So go ahead and jump through that. Better. Much better. Couple more. Early, early, early. Hey. Okay? Early. Okay, now don't get careful. Again, I don't care if it's here. I don't care if you miss it 10 feet. Okay? Let it go. Get it out of there early. Wow. You felt that was really good. Yeah. So the transformation happens kind of like that. Well, no. Yes, reps create a habit. They don't develop one. Okay? You repeat yourself over and over, but you have to have a specific repetition.
That's a good habit.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I listen to people, oh, we're going to go rep it out. I'm going to shoot 1,000 shots. Well, if you're shooting 1,000 shots of a bad habit, you're just going to be really good at a bad habit.
Yeah.
And at some point, you have a ceiling that those bad habits get to.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you run out of talent. And you've seen it everywhere you go, every level, people just run out of talent. And if you can take a skill, like if you've got athleticism, like you're able to jump and you're quick and you can handle and all that kind of stuff. Imagine if you can take your best move, make your best burst, and then get up there.
As well as I can on catch and shoot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what Steph Curry's like unlock something.
Right.
Because no one's been able to shoot as well or catch and shoot like him and then have it
Dame.
on a string.
Yeah. Dame. Now you're looking at James. James doesn't go catch and shoot because he's so good. He's so great with the ball that you just go, here, James, take the ball. Yeah. And we'll just play off of you, right? So he's a different kind of animal. But yeah, there are guys that can put it down and create. Kobe was great shooting off the dribble. Michael. Those guys were mid-range guys. They learned to shoot the three later on.
If Michael played today, he would have been doing shit like James Harden. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, believe me, Michael would figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael would figure it out. His shot what happens all the time is the guys in the mid-range create space and they organize and get up here, separate, and finish. Okay, out there, you have to get organized earlier. And for him, he would have just gotten organized earlier.
You're right. Because it's like the mid-range, Kobe would just be like trying to get to a spot and then he'd come and then he's
right.
Mid-range, it's a lot harder to make that shot.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And that's why it's just once in a while you'll see somebody have to do that and make one.
That's why James Harden, he's down, and then he's...
Yeah, and then I'm not going to say travels, but...
Oh, yeah.
I don't want... Yeah, they just... Yes, it is. But we changed the rules because offense matters. Yeah, it does. I didn't really just say that, did I? Yes, okay. So, but you understand. But when people are allowed to do something within the parameters of what they're allowing you to do, then go do it.
Yeah.
Right? Which is kind of crazy because we used to play defense. You got the ball. We were taught play defense like this. I would get up here and push against you. Now what do? They just go, hey! And then they draw a foul. And so it changes the game. How the game's called changes the game. How the game is understood, analytics, changes the game. What's a good shot? What's a bad shot?
Knowing that floaters are 30%, it's like, oh.
It's like, well, I need to get really good at those then, Because if you can shoot 50%, the hard thing is people don't really, they remember the ones that you're making. Yeah. Oh, that was such a great shot.
Yeah. And then
you took 7 of them to get the...
I'm like only watching, if you're not watching the full game, you're only watching what they make.
Exactly right.
You see that they make a couple floaters a game.
Yeah. It's like PGA Tour golf.
Yeah.
you're only seeing the last 6 guys that are making all the 6-footers they've made for the whole week in the last groups. And if they miss one, it's like the biggest thing in the whole world because they've been all making them.
You're into golf?
I am. Yeah. Do you play?
I mean, I'm really trying to get into it. Like since the pandemic, I've been trying to get into it.
Nice.
I feel like shooters figure it out.
Well, true. Golf's the hardest game in the world to be truly great at, though.
I agree.
There's more fundamentals involved in it. Like I've played I played some professional golf too. So if you're going to go learn, first thing I can tell you is learn how to hold the ball. Because even with basketball, people don't hold the ball well. And when you grab it, you should hold it. Something should cover the center of the ball. And like I talk about all the time, this is why I like your hands like this, is if you look at my hand, I have as equal coverage as I can possibly create over the center of the ball. So when I go up here, there's no pressure this way. If I hold it here, elbows apart, then I must push it here to get it online. And that's part of the reason, that's why I was talking about your left elbow.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason, like when you go up, there's a little pause because you're just trying to get organized and straight.
Yeah.
Goal number 1 to shoot the ball well is to shoot it straight. Simple,
Yeah, you
right?
don't want to miss left and right.
No. It's funny, I go through that when I do clinics and stuff. I say, what's the most important thing to do well to shoot the ball? People are like, follow through. I go, and I'll make one. They'll go, good this, good this. I go, no. Think simpler. We so confuse things. Yeah, shoot it straight.
Yeah.
If you can't shoot straight, I don't care what else we're doing. Doesn't matter how high you jump or how well you, nothing. If you can't shoot it straight, we're done. Because if you can shoot it straight, now you can figure out how far to shoot it. Like if I tell you, pass me the ball right there, that's exactly where you put it. That's what athletes do. They have spatial awareness and they go, that's how far. So the touch, that's not the issue necessarily. Some guys, yeah, because they came to basketball a different way. But people that are athletes, I put my hand up there, you just look, did you think, okay, how do I do this or how hard? No, you just go, up, yeah, and you just put it right in my hand. That is a reaction. That's what athletes do. So when you throw that up there, I know you have good touch. So the rest of it is, how do I get you organized fast enough where all you're doing is the touch? Rather than, okay, your mind knows, okay, I gotta get these forces right, and I gotta get this right, and I gotta, do that. And that's the challenge, okay? So that's what we're trying to do. It's a complicated way to make things simple, right? Hands on the ball before your feet touch the floor. Vertical posture, connection, ball goes first, wrist, elbow, shoulder. All of those things, they start to add up. And once that becomes who you are and what you do, the rest, you start looking like, wow, that's a really simple shot. And it is. It's there, boom, on the way up, right? So let's mess around one more thing. Use your right foot as your pivot foot this time. And you're going to go this way, one dribble. And then same thing, keep your eyes up all the time, look at the rim. Mike, don't look anywhere else, okay? And then go ahead and make that jump stop, pass fake, and then, yeah, and go ahead and shoot that. There you go, okay? Now, the reason that you're short is just because we're holding the ball. So, and I think you were pretty ready to shoot, but now it's the habit of loading to overcome. So if we load here, and then if I told you, Mike, release it from your nose, show me what you would do. Sounds funny, right? Go ahead. Yeah. But guess what? That started to go on the way up. Now you can be an athlete underneath that. So go ahead, jump through this one and let it go from your nose. Okay? I kind of like that. One more time. Balance chest up. Okay? Now that's getting better. Now I'm going to get you to the end. So that time, when you put the ball down, you're receiving it here, right? So pull it right here, and now you've shortened the distance it's got to travel. Exactly. Okay, so do that. Okay, good, and let it go early on the way up and out. There we go. That was your best one of the day. Feel that? Okay, again, same thing, early. Right. So now when you can start letting it go on the way up, There's more things that you can do to escape, and then it's the faster you can let it go, easier it is. Because if you make a great move and you beat me, I'm going to react. I'm not just going to vaporize and disappear, right? I'm going to try to close you up. So this is the time-space relationship. You go up here and you're getting organized, that's my time.
Yeah.
You're giving me my time.
Time for you to recover, to have a better contest.
Exactly. So if you eliminate that time, what in the hell am I going to do?
Yeah.
I have to start overreacting to everything you do. Because I now know he's going to shoot it from right there. I got to start now, and then you go the other way. And that's how you start playing the game. And believe it or not, it really, think about when Steph gets it, and he goes, that's it. That's his shot fake.
Yeah.
He just takes his hands and goes, and he opens his eyes, and everybody goes, ah!
Yeah, because that's like...
Yeah, you got to stop that.
Yeah, because his shot is so quick. And like,
Exactly.
Like, so, like, low.
And you just said the magic words. We equate it as quickness. I don't. I say it as preparedness. We're ready. Everything's prepared. Hands are ready. Body's ready. Balance is ready. We're not trying to catch our balance. We're not trying to reroute the ball. And that's like the ones that you just made the jump stop here. Your motion started to get better. I could see it. But the distance that the ball had to travel, if we eliminate that, think about that. That's time for you. Yes. That's why we need our hands on it. Yeah. And that's the thing. First, you have to understand what it is. You know, it's like Alcoholics Anonymous. Hi, I'm Rob. I'm an alcoholic. Denial is not just a river in Africa, right? You have to admit, here's what the deal is. Now we can deal. That's why I said, if you can feel it, then you can fix it. Okay?
I definitely felt the pickup. Like, it was like, why would, like, it's like such an easy fix. It was just like, why wouldn't you just have it come right back to your...
Yeah, devil's in the details, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I've always discovered, because I have obviously guys at the highest level in the world. I deal with this every day. And it's because we were taught that way, and it's because people don't approach it with this
No, because everything
detail.
you're saying is something I should have been taught at age 5. I should have been taught at age 5.
Right?
So
Yeah.
it sounds beginner. It sounds like almost beginners, but it's like we've been repping out things for 20 years the wrong way.
This is funny because I went to University of Virginia, and Tony Bennett, I go up there with his first team, Malcolm Brogdon and Justin Anderson and Anthony. All these guys are in the NBA now. And I said, look, coach says, what drills do you have for us, coach? I said, okay. I said, I have drills, but if I show you, you're not going to understand them. What I came here to do is give you a set of foundational principles that once you understand them, you can build off of them. So then I said, okay, so now Tony Bennett, I don't know if you know this. Tony played in the NBA, you know that. He still holds the record for percentage in college three-point shooting. So this is a big-time player back there. Now Tony's in the back and he's watching his staff's up in front. And I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you something that after I show you, it's going to look so stupidly simple. You're going to be insulted that I'm asking you to try it and nobody will be able to do it. Right? And this was before I was in the league, so I've got a couple guys out there, and Malcolm was out there, and all the players are going to try. So this is all I did.
Yeah.
I made that jump stop with my hands touch the ball before my feet touch the floor. And everybody looked at me like, oh, God, we're paying this guy money? Seriously?
Yeah.
And I said, try it. And they all did the same thing. What you did first, they all did like this.
Yeah.
And you know, the players look at each other like, did you get it? They didn't get it, so what did they do? They tried to do it faster, thinking that's going to help. No,
it's just the order. Like,
there's an actual biomechanical reason that you do that. It's how you walk, right? How do we walk? One arm goes in front of it, right? Your arms swing, yeah, right? Your arms, yeah. So if you dribble like you run or you walk, one arm's behind you. And if you got to have your hands on the ball early, that's a habit that we have to retrain, okay? And then as you bring that chest up, and because we all learn to run like that, so we play tackle football when they're this big and trying to get smashed and all that. But so you see it. So mess around, Mike. So now back up just a hair, and let's give you like a little hezzy, and see if you can put the ball down, get both hands on it, and then let it go on the way up. Okay? Just for a couple. Either way, doesn't matter. Very nice. Very nice. Now that was a lot smoother up there. Nicely done. Good, I like the hard dribble. Now, this is the good news. I see that you feel it now.
I'm trying to get the wrist right.
Yeah, yeah. What will help you is your chest being up.
Okay,
If you're here, that's natural. That's easier, okay? Yeah. Oh, look at that. You feel that, right? Isn't that cool? Oh my goodness. I love that. Love that, Mike. Well done. Now, think about how much more effective you're going to be able to be where you're not reacting to the defenders. Because when we're up here getting organized, you start feeling people get close to you, don't you? Everybody does, okay? And the earlier you can let that go, like that's nice. So now you can start playing, okay? Once we like build the rest of the principles, your moves will be similar with less balance adjustment at the end. Because a lot of times you'll feel like, you know, when you do this, you go, huh, so if I do that, I'm ready right now. And what we want to do is we want to stay ready, 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 ready through a whole part of the move. Because if you're not, as a defender, I can just wait and wait for you
to come up.
Yeah, to know that you're getting ready to shoot, then I close. But if I don't know, like that's what's great about Steph. Steph's right, and Harden's those two guys. They're like, Dame too. They sit here right like this.
They're such good shooters that like you have to be closer to them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially now, you got to take away the three.
Yeah.
You know, I would rather go by here, go for a shot fake, and have you drive right there and shoot that mid-range pull-up or the floater. Now, what does Harden do?
He throws lobs in those situations.
Yes, he almost never shoots that floater unless he's got no choice.
Yeah.
So he's either getting all the way to the rim.
DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah, he's getting all the way to the rim, shooting the three, or getting an assist.